Hello there and welcome. So we got yet another Necromancer build. It is that time again. So Necromancers are really strong. And they became just so much stronger with the new Mystic update that it is beyond stupid. So let me introduce to you a Mystic build for the Necromancer side, which utilizes the Summoner School, and to top things off, a Eldritch Ruler, because everything is cooler on the Necromancy side with an Eldritch Ruler. So let's get started. It's a really nutty thing that is beyond stupidly strong. So first off, we go racial wise for Arcane Focus, Keen Sighted, and Adaptable. This gives us a nice ranged attack package. The undead creatures that we have will not ever inherit the traits here. These traits will be for our racial cultural units, and most of the stuff that we recruit will be backliners. Battle mages, supporters, that stuff. Sometimes we also might want to recruit a shield unit or something like that, but altogether I found this combination of things very appealing. The Summoning School of Mystics does give us a ability which heals and strengthens all magic origin units. Since basically everything undead is a magic origin unit, this is a insane synergy with the necromancy path in itself. The astral echoes that we harvest can be used to upgrade units, more about that later, and our own units boost the morale of magic origin units. And since undead things are magic origin units, there's heavy synergy going on. Eventually our entire species goes undead. Things happen massively. So cultural trade-wise, gifted casters and mana channelers. So gifted casters makes our combat spells cheaper, gives us more flexibility point-wise, and mana channelers makes our summonings cheaper and gives our magic origin units an extra rank. It's an unholy and powerful, potent combination. You could switch out one of the two. For in my humble opinion, gifted casters more than mana channelers, but choose for yourself. I think both would work just fine. Either way, runesmiths might be an addition that could be cool too, but yeah, these two are really working out well. So, tome-wise, well, there is no big surprise that we're going to go first off into the Tome of Souls. This, not Souls, Necromancy. Souls is the other one. So we start out with a tome where we basically want every single thing in it. Soul Collection for the soul income, Necrotic Magic to boost up our battle mages and supporters right from the get-go. The chance to inflict decay is insane. Not only the damage over time of decay is really bonkers, it also counters any form of healing right off the bat. So I love that one. Necrotize, single target spell, which makes the enemy turn into a zombie when it dies, in combination with a rotting explosion, which allows you to explode zombies or skeletons in a 2-hex radius for just a couple of souls. This is an unholy combination that I really love. Skeleton reanimation allows you to spend some souls to reanimate stuff after combat, which is really nice to fill up your ranks really quickly. Just mind you, this is low tier raffle, mostly meant to boost up your numbers and being exploded by rotting explosion. These units are nothing special to write home about, and they always inherit the stats of the fallen, so you will not have your racial traits on these guys. Necromancers are another backbone of your army. Not only can you use them to raise enemies that have just died right next to the next enemy to harass them as zombies, you can also revive friendly undead units. This means eventually you can resurrect your own entire army when you are all undead, and this is one hell of a spell. That's why you're only allowed to use it once per battle. It's a really potent thing that stays relevant the entire game. And Strengthen Undead, yeah, it is a free action basically. It'll leave one action point over and use it just wherever you can, as it is a really powerful and cheap way of empowering your stuff. So Unholy Leader is really cool on your heroes, as it's just pure goodness, which will eventually again benefit your entire army. And yeah, Soul Well should be sitting in every city because souls are a darned valuable resource. The other tier one I went for is the Tome of Warding. This has so much synergy with this build and gives us some much needed robustness, as we are mostly specking into offenses with the tomes here. So, warding gives us Phantasmal Warriors, which are hard to kill, available, and inherit all of our racial traits and racial transformations. So that means these guys are really good to fill up your ranks on the fly, to get yourself some much needed shields when you don't have access to the much better spell shields of your culture. They're really versatile little dudes. Magical wards, yeah, resistances for your entire race. What can I say more? It's amazing. Staves of Warding is a powerhouse for this culture, as our armies feature a lot of supporters. We have necromancers and we have summoners. These two are integral parts of our entire strategy, which make it really a lot better for us to use them, because this is a really, really powerful little thing. Mark of Invulnerability and Static Shield can be used in a pinch to make the enemy either avoid attacking somebody entirely or pay deeply for either retaliating or just attacking the person. Don't sleep on bolstering support for your own heroes if you run support skills like I do a lot. This is also very, very powerful, especially as many heroes have AoE support skills. Tier 2, now to the Tome of Souls. I was a little bit over ambitious there. So, Tome of Souls gives us more of all the things that we want. The Bone Horrors, Tier 3, shock units. Amazing stuff. These guys are really, really cool, as they are hard to kill. They are dishing out a lot of damage, and you can basically create them out of the dust that you grind up while fighting. Soul Overflow allows you to use the souls that you got as a 1 hex radius negative status purge with some nice side effects, but I personally always see this as a huge status purge. This is really massive. It's really powerful. Soul Binders. This one rocks. So your battle mages and your supporters will then make the enemy rise again as a zombie, or, well, there's a chance that they will do so when they got that, and you increase your soul economy at the same time, and you increase the damage. So, wow, this is so much goodness. With this, from this point on, you will have so many zombies to work with without spending more any other effort than shooting with your battle mages and your supporters. It is really that good. Restore Undead Army? Well, you can just heal your units cheaply in the air against souls. That's why I say it's a very valuable resource. And now, the Corrupt Soul. So, the Corrupt Soul is a wonderful fighter unit that grinds up the enemy's morale and can just kill people with a low morale, or nuke them at least. It's a really, really powerful unit, and the only downside of them is that they are needing nowadays with the Mystic update and henceforth a tier 2 mage tower, so prepare for that if you want to go for these guys as quickly as I want them, and they are really that good. Next up, Doom Herald. In previous iterations of this build I ran Summoning as the other one, because Summoning allowed us to heal our entire army really efficiently. No longer do we need this, as the Summoner's basic tool is just integrating why I picked this tome. So now we can rock Doom Herald, full-on necromancy. The Banshees are excellent battle mages that just are a good fit for our entire build. They hit harder when the enemy's morale is broken, they can break the enemy's morale, and they are highly mobile and pretty hard to kill for a battle mage. Prelude of Doom can demoralize the enemy on the map, and Cause Despair does the same thing in the battle. Really good stuff, as low morale enemies have a tendency to fumble. That's really cool. And Joy Siphoners makes all of your racial units go really nuts, as they steal enemy morale and boost themselves up in the same moment. That means your own crit rate goes up, while the enemy's crit rate goes down. That's really nice. Or, well, I shouldn't call it crit rate go down, more like their fumble rate goes up. And Cruel Weaponry allows us to utilize the effect of all those things at the end of the day. It's a really, really good deal, and since we don't need the healing from the Tome of Summoning anymore, we can finally use this tool to its full extent. And Doom Depth Trench is also a really, really nice power tool. So, to all the other things that you want. Obviously, we want the Tome of the Great Transformation as the next best thing that we can grab. Whiteborn makes all of our dudes undead and gives them lifesteal, which makes them really annoyingly hard to kill. Undead unit type comes with so many benefits. Among these, like your necromancers can just resurrect your own units right from the bat. Really good stuff. We also gain access to bone dragons, which are really cool stuff to invest your souls into when you have the honor to kill a tier 5 unit. And Fetid Legion does make all of your units go really, really better in terms of resilience and debuffing qualities. It's a really nice enchantment that goes a long way. By the way, the Bone Dragons, don't take them too seriously. They are more of a nice to have and not so much of a must have for your armies. Necrotic Spires are just good for your own home turf defense, and Domain of Death is amazing as it increases the city stability, which allows you to use all the stuff like the Doom Depth Trench a lot easier, as the city stability income will never be a problematic thing with that. And Desecrate Structure gives you more souls, and souls are really, really good stuff. So the other tier 3 to aim for with this build, in my humble opinion, is straight up amplification. It does so much goodness for you. Amplified arrows will make your measly skeleton archers shine, but it's honestly the only thing what this is good for, but it is actually really good for these skeleton archers, but you shouldn't invest too much knowledge into that. We are more after frenzying focus, which makes all of our battle mages and supporters eventually hit quite hard. Chain lightning is a wonderful thing if you have the spare spellcasting slot. It's a good nuke, and since every spell will heal and empower your army, it's never a bad cast. Astral Blood will increase the critical hit of your dudes at the same pace, so you really start noticing the amplification of the damage dealing potential. And Amplify Minds, you can use that since you have the Domain of Death available, boosting up the city stability again, so it's a really, really good deal. And spell amplification and resonance fields are never a bad thing to have. So, as a quick thing where to aim after that, Tome of the Reaper is, in my humble opinion, a must-have for any Necromancer build, because you have the soul income to facilitate these guys. Build that big fat Mage's Tower and go for these. They are amazing, as is the rest of the book. Like Mark for Death is one hell of a spell, and Greater Reanimation is also really just a better version of what your necromancers do. Soul Siphons gives you a big fat soul income, and yeah. From that point on, choose Oblivion for more crowd control if you are after that, or choose Astral Convergence for more nukes and damage dealing on the battlefield via spellcasting. It is up to you. All roads end obviously at the Tome of the Eternal Lord, but that goes without saying for a Necromancer build. So, let's talk strategy and such. Our roster consists out of a lot of troops that we really don't want, especially the tier 1s. The Arcane Guard is pretty negligible for this build. You will have so much raffle that you can fill your army with that these guys are nightly unnecessary. The Arcanists, on the other hand, are, until you have Banshees, your only battle mages that you have access to, so value them. They aren't bad. Their main quality is they're cheap, and they inflict all of the nasty status effects that your unit enchantments can inflict, and therefore they're really good at that. But beyond that, there is not much to write home about, and eventually they should be all replaced with Banshees, which are just a better version of these guys. Necromancers are amazing for this build in any aspect, as they can strengthen the undead units you have, which is a pretty strong synergy for all those crappy skeleton units of yours. It really makes them shine, and Raise Undead gives them a second life, or gives you the ability to harass the enemy with their own fallen. I love that combo. Soothers are also a must-have, as the Soothing Breeze is our main healing option on our cultural roster, but since all of our battlefield spellcasting heals our units, it is really all we need. You really don't need more than that. On top of that, you want at least one of these guys for the spell channeling passive, because it would be really a waste if you wouldn't pick them up. Spell shields are surprisingly good for this build, and I'd recommend to have a few of these for your front line, especially as they are really much better than the skeletons. They have an AoE stun effect, and that is really, really cool, but they aren't too important for that build at the end of the day. Summoners are really, really massive. Not only do they have a pretty hard-hitting attack as a tier 3 supporter, don't underestimate them, they're really smack. They also are allowed to summon stuff. Since we are rocking mostly shadow spells, we are getting those weird ice elementals all over, but at the end of the day, this is just a free unit that you can use to spread disruption with. The main utility on these guys is the Astral Bond, which allows you to boost up one magic origin unit of your choice quite massively. Mind you, this works for a meager skeleton and a reaper all alike. The only dependency here is magic origin. So that is what makes these guys really amazing, as they can do that passively, and this way, your summoners are, as a matter of fact, really amazing damage dealers. Don't underestimate them. They come with the side effect of passively boosting one of your allies while having their hands free to blast the enemy, which is in all means I really love these guys. They're really, really powerful. I underestimated them in the first place, and I don't anymore. So, the rest of your roster is of course filled with undead. The Corrupt Soul should be the mainstay of your frontline, the quality frontline that is. These guys just hit like a truck. They are hard to kill, they can nuke from afar, and they're really, 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 really cool units in all aspects. The other company they have are your Bone Horrors, which are just very similar, but as a shock unit, their job is to break the back line, whereas the Corrupted Souls make the front line. And it's also worth mentioning these guys are spreading units when they die, so it's a really, really nice nice thing. And last but not least, where are you, little Banshee? My ranks are a little bit thinned because I had fought off insane armies here. Well, I'm afraid I lost my Banshee. Well, the Banshees are medium damage dealing. That's not their mainstay, but they will make up your main battle mage backbone in combination with the summoners. And after that, rack up bone dragons and reapers to have some super high profile units. So apart from that, you are really, really good at conquering the world right from the get-go. The point is that you should always try to keep your army stack as full as possible. Here I am sitting at the remains of that, and the basic idea is to get as quick as possible 3 banners of 6 people and fill it up with skeletons as much as you want. Avoid archers as much as you can, as these are really not the most desirable unit to have. Battle mages, those are the main things. The shields, they aren't bad either. The spears also, but the archers not so much. The thing here is, always keep a good eye on how many low quality troops there are in your stack. It is easy to fall for the illusion of strength with this build, because, you know, I have 18 units standing there. They are low quality, they fall quickly, and they're just meant to be replaced by something better. So never ever should you hesitate to blow them up with a rotting explosion. But let's talk about the Eldritch Ruler part as well. So Eldritch Necromancer Rulers have a special spell called Thrall Effigy, allowing you to transform souls into thralls, which is OP as hell, because that means you can transform your souls into thralls and your thralls into knowledge. So this build has all the tools to be absolutely nuts in the knowledge generation process. Pick up knowledge extraction to gain knowledge from killed heroes. Pick up the Court of Whispers and the All-Seeing trait to milk knowledge of city-states. And to top things off, pick up Stolen Power to gain knowledge and mana when you're conquering cities, and you can, of course, pick up an extra Whispering Stone there. The Order Affinity did come from an event. This is not usually in this build. Altogether, this build also plays extremely well in auto battle, and your heroes will utilize a lot of supporting skills, because your heroes are allowed to learn the spirit summon from your summoners, use that. The more units the better, and you can have the astral ward. Astral wards are immobile monoliths that you can link with somebody, and then they soak up the damage until they die, and the damage will be mitigated from that unit. So you can have that as a cultural spell, and you can have that on your heroes, which means the amount of damage mitigation that you can pull off with this is mind-boggling. Pair that with a little bit of extra support, maybe a mass rejuvenation on your hero signature skills, and you're golden. This is so stupidly powerful, as the amount of stuff that you have on the battlefield is really, really a lot. You have also a lot of options to use the other Eldritch Ruler rituals, like the Mesmerizing Draft or Clairvoyance, so you have really a lot of things going on. And the astral echoes that this build generates, my personal recommendation is to save them up for people like these. Don't spend your astral echoes on your cheap zombie skeleton units and such. Wait up until you have this stuff and promote them, because nowadays you see how many bonuses these guys get when they level up. And in a nutshell, a high level, high tier unit is nuts. This is so much stronger than it ever was before, and therefore, yeah, invest into the tier 3 units and you will see what I'm talking about, or even into the higher tier units. Altogether, Astral Echoes make this build even... you'll see what I mean when you're trying it out for yourself. One mainstay is also utilize the Rotting Explosion a lot. This is one of the main tricks of this build, as it allows you to position one of the zombies that you've raised somewhere and turn them into a dirty bomb. The combination of spread AoE and damage over time that negates enemy healing and stays until it gets cleansed is yikes. Decaying is one of those statuses that doesn't expire, and therefore this spell, wow, it's brutal. It's really, really brutal. And whenever you can, utilize it. It's so good that this build doesn't need any other battle magic than these two spells on the battlefield to really shine. Cause Despair and the other things that you get are icing on the cake. The Astral Wards should be spammed by your heroes, and keeping your hands free on that one. I mean, sure, if you have other options at hand, use them. But seriously, Rotting Explosion is wow. It's just such a wow spell. Enough said. Start necromancing. Start Eldritch Necromancing. It is really, really powerful. And last word about the dude here. Pick up Flesh Weaver, as the possession trait is really powerful. It allows you to empower another unit in crazy ways, and you also gain suicide bombers each fight. This is one hell of a synergy, and top it off with the Delirium and Desperate Anguish. This will allow you to control whatever isn't controllable on the battlefield, and yeah. Learn eventually Tentacled Escape, and try to get the Eldritch Influence abilities also as soon as you have a tight grip on the battles, as these are amazingly powerful. And yeah, enjoy life. Drop me your comments down below. Let me know what you think about this build. Let me know what kind of builds you want to see from me. And of course, feel free to leave a thumbs up, consider subscribing, and check out the description box. There's a playlist link to all of my Age of Wonders guides, and links to support the channel directly via Patreon, PayPal, Buy Me a Coffee, channel membership, you name it. A big thanks to everybody of you who do, and a big thanks to you especially for watching this video until the very end. I deeply appreciate it. And have a wonderful day. See you next time.